so much on problems, and you start understanding that every problem is the opportunity to produce a solution. You don't sit around and worry. You have to understand that worry is a non-productive mind state. There is nothing about worrying that's going to benefit you or help the situation. Why are you worrying? You're worrying, and the thing that you worry about might not even happen. So you just wasted a lot of time and energy. It's three things that I don't believe in doing. I don't like wasting my time, I don't like wasting my energy, and I don't like wasting my finances. And anytime you're sitting around worrying, you're wasting a lot of time and you're wasting a lot of energy. Don't worry. It's a non-productive mind state.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Some epic again. Vintage. I gave my heaven if you could just see through my hair. You got that? My days are numbered, read it somewhere in numbers. Oh, she told me it's the things you're not ordered to do that unshare. So free your will, free your will, free your grace, free your grace, free your skill, free your face, free your face. Before I die, I wanna know how freedom tastes. Hey, before I die, I wanna know how freedom tastes. Free your will, free your will, free your grace, free your grace, free your skill, free your face, free your face. I was honest, swear I was wanted on every corner. I was locked away like a monster too many times. This time, can't even bring myself to write my people. This time, can hardly bring myself to write a sequel. Don't ever take life for granted, this life a cheat. Don't know how many days we got on this planet Ice, so be cool. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, stupid. Man in the mirror's the shooter, I'm begging to be conducive. An uphill battle, a boat without a paddle, I float. Vampire in Dallas, like sleepers in Seattle. I know all these talents and gifts, and you giving up on me. So God keep bringing me back, like bitch, you stuck with me. What's up with me?
Peace and power. Welcome to the Game Theory Podcast. This is your big brother Psyche. It's been a while since I worked on this channel. You know, I've been working on another channel. If you don't follow it, you need to follow the Panther 48 channel. It's a channel that I do with two of my brothers, great, wise, intelligent thinkers, Brother E and Brother War. It's a good channel, I believe, with a lot of good information, especially for those who are political activists. But I do this channel on my own time because this is something I'm passionate about. And the thing that I'm passionate about is the reinitiating or the reigniting of black manhood into the black family. See, one of the main things that I look at, you know, having a background in community work, community activism, we always talking about the uplifting the community or liberating the community. Well, when you want to liberate a community, you have to think about the factors that go into liberating the community. And to me, the first thing you have to do is you have to establish and strengthen the first organization in the community. The very first organization in any community is the family. The family unit is the very first organization in any community. And then you have to think about the thing that brings discipline, that brings strength, that brings structure, that brings direction to the family. And that is the man. That should be the father. It should be that person that's supposed to stand and develop and create that level of maleness and manhood on a positive level within the family. So, you know, that becomes my focus. That becomes the thing that I think, okay, if we want to liberate the community, we have to strengthen the first organization in the community, which is the family. And to do that, we have to bring back true and living manhood. And that's what my focus is. And that's why I decided to do this channel on my own. So this channel will focus on a podcast called Game Theory. And we'll get into details about what that means and why I choose that name later. Today's conversation, though, and it's the reason why you click the video, is how to become invincible. How to become hard to kill. And this is a conversation or a dialogue that I want to go into. It really first caught my attention in the reading of The Art of War by Sun Tzu. In the reading of The Art of War, and I'm going to read a little bit of this to let y'all know why it touched me. You know, the first time I read this, I think I was maybe 18, 19 years old, and I didn't understand it because in my mind, it's like, how can you become invincible? When I think of that, I'm thinking of a superhero, somebody like Superman, who bullets can't affect him, who throwing a train at him can't affect him. He's invincible. So that's what I'm thinking about. I'm like, how can I possibly become invincible? How can I be at a level where I cannot be harmed? That's unrealistic. What is Sun Tzu, this great war general, what is he talking about? So I'm going to read it. I'm going to read a little bit of it. And then we're going to build on it and figure out how to apply this knowledge into a social setting. But anyway, Sun Tzu said, anciently, the skillful warriors first made themselves invincible and awaited the enemy's moment of vulnerability. Invincibility depends on oneself, the enemy's vulnerability on him. It follows that those skilled in war can make themselves invincible, but cannot cause an enemy to be certainly vulnerable. That which depends on me, I can do. That which depends on the enemy cannot be certain. Therefore, it is said that one may know how to win, but cannot necessarily do so. Invincibility lies in defense, the possibility of victory in the attack. So Sun Tzu said you have to make yourself invincible. And so I'm going to get into some points, some social points that I believe that would help us reach that goal, that will help a man become invincible. So first, let's get into the discussion. I think that there are key components that we have to touch on when we're dealing with invincibility. Those key components to me is the attitude that you have. It is what you're doing with your body, what you're doing socially, what you're doing financially, and your level of awareness. These are the 5 things I'm going to quickly touch on. I'm not even going to go into deep detail because the whole point of this podcast, Game Theory, is to break these things down in detail by detail. Each one of these components can have a couple of videos on their own. Each one of these aspects of thought processes can be a video on its own and be tied back to the original thing that Sun Tzu said about being invincible. So today we're just going to lay the groundwork, the foundation. And if you subscribe to the channel, if you like the video, if you follow me, then later in every video that we drop from here on, we're going to get into this invincibility. We're going to create the invincibility that most men, most people in general, men, women, seek. So we're going to talk about invincibility. Let's get into it. Let's build on it. Now, the first element I said that we need to have in invincibility is the attitude. What does that mean? What am I talking about? You have to have the right mental attitude, a positive mental attitude. And what does that mean when I say a positive mental attitude? I'm not saying that you walk around like some idiot thinking that everything that happens is positive, which I am kind of saying that. I am somewhat saying that because a positive mental attitude puts you in the right mind state to tackle and deal with issues. Give you a good example. One of the things I like to look at is that when we understand, and I don't know, whoever watching this, if you're religious, if you're non-religious, but just think of it from a philosophical point of view. Think of it from the aspect of the knowledge that you can gain from what I'm going to show you right now. In Scripture, in the beginning of Scripture, in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, it shows us God creating the world, and it gives us this in days, day 1, day 2, day 3. And every time God creates something, God created the waters, God created this, God. At every level and every step of the creation, at the end of that creation, God declares that it's good. It says, and it was good. That's what God says. So the point I'm trying to get at, and what I'm talking about is about having the right attitude, about having a positive mental attitude, is that in the creation of everything in existence, God said it was good. It was good. So what can be bad? In my mind state, at all times, everything that's happening to you is good. It's either good for you right now. Whoa, I just won $1 million. Or it's taking you through the things that you need to go through in order to learn how to create good for yourself. So at the end, it's good. You can go through some of the most trying and horrible times that you could ever go through in your life. But if your mind state is right, you'll start looking for the lessons in it, and you'll learn how to take those lessons and produce good for yourself. There's a lot of things that me personally and every human being that done walked this planet done went through, whether those things was heartbreaks, whether they was losing loved ones, whether there was loss of jobs, loss of money. If you take out the time to pay attention to the lessons in that, if you develop a positive mental attitude, the right attitude that will allow you to respond to those things correctly, instead of sitting up woe is me and worrying and stressing about it, you say, what lesson am I supposed to get here? What growth is supposed to take place here? What can I gain from this? And then start actually gaining and applying it. That's what I mean by the positive mental attitude. You start to realize and understand that it's all good and nothing can stop you from being and doing what it is that you need to do. When you have this type of attitude, this positive mental attitude, you don't blame others for your problems. That's weak. You don't blame others for your problems. It's always on you. You have to take the accountability and responsibility to yourself. Because if you do that, no matter what other people are doing to you, because other people will do stuff to you, it's going to happen. Other people are going to mess over you. They're going to cross you. They're going to take from you. They're going to lie on you. They're going to try to destroy you. But you have to accept and understand that everything that happens is your fault. As bad as they may sound, everything that happens is your fault. Because what do you get out of blaming others for it? You don't get anything. There's no benefit in that. But there is great benefit in it being your fault, because if it's your fault, then it's in your control to change it. If it's somebody else's fault, then you have to wait till they decide to make your life better. But if it's your fault, all you have to do is decide to make your own life better and change the entire thing. That's all you have to be. That's all you have to do. It's not difficult. It's not hard. So this is the type of mind state that I believe that any intelligent person should take on. They should take on the mind state that everything is mine. I'm going to take the full responsibility of everything that happens in my life. And as long as I'm doing that, I cannot lose. So
cheat, but I will not lose, for even in defeat is a valuable lesson learned, so it evens up for me.
We can't put it on other people. You have to stop focusing on the problem and start constructing solutions. You got to understand that life is mathematics, and everything that we deal with is mathematical. An equation is defined by creating equality, meaning that an equation is a problem, it is a solution with an equal sign in the middle. The problem is 4 plus 4. What is it? The equal sign is in the middle. On the other side is 8, which produces the equation. When you start looking at life as a mathematical equation, then you understand that the equation has the problem and then it has the solution. All you have to do is learn how to do learn the mathematical skills to solve it. You have to solve for the solution, which is the root of the word solution, solve. You have to solve for the solution. When you start thinking like that, you stop focusing so much on problems, and you start understanding that every problem is the opportunity to produce a solution. You don't sit around and worry. You have to understand that worry is a non-productive mind state. There is nothing about worrying that's going to benefit you or help the situation. Why are you worrying? You're worrying, and the thing that you worry about might not even happen, so you just wasted a lot of time and energy. It's 3 things that I don't believe in doing. I don't like wasting my time, I don't like wasting my energy, and I don't like wasting my finances. And anytime you're sitting around worrying, you're wasting a lot of time and you're wasting a lot of energy. Don't worry. It's a non-productive mind state. You have to understand that we're dealing with life is war. And everything is competitive in a war situation. And if you're worrying, you're operating from a non-productive mind state. It's an energy drain, and you're probably not going to win in the war of life if you're sitting around worrying. Another thing, so that's, you have to have the right attitude. You have to have a positive mental attitude in order to be invincible. So the attitude has to be correct first. Second, we have to move into self. We got to deal with the body. So we have to make sure the body is strong. I've heard people say, I want to be conscious. I've heard people trying to elevate their thought process. But one thing you have to understand is that the body is a temple. And the way that the body is constructed is constructed in a way in order to allow you to utilize this temple to draw the right type of energy to yourself. If you think of your body like this, think of it like this. Let's think of the old style radios. I know we don't deal with all this anymore in today's society, but think of it. It had an antenna, and the antenna gave it the ability to draw. The antenna gave it the ability to catch your radio waves. That's the only way you could change the radio station to particular. That's why if you was out in the country or rural areas, you couldn't get the stations that you usually like to listen to because you're not able to get that reception. Or even dealing with our devices today, if you got a computer or a tablet or any of these things that doesn't have Bluetooth capability, then you can connect to your Bluetooth earpieces. The same thing happens with the human body. The central nervous system, the brain and the spinal cord is that antenna. It's that Bluetooth. But see, there are things that you could do that'll weaken your waves. The way you're eating, alcohol abuse, drug abuse, smoking, being fat, overweight, obese, eating incorrectly, all these things that drains your energy and weaken you, they weaken your vibration. And there is no way that you're going to move to a level of consciousness when your vibration is vibrating so weakly, so densely. It'll never happen. So the thing you have to do in order to make yourself invincible is to make yourself more impenetrable to diseases, to illnesses, to weaknesses. How do you do that? You have to train every day. I believe that a healthy man should be training 6 days a week. He should be training 6 days a week. Take 1 day off. Hell, God took 1 day off, so take 1 day off. You should be training 6 days a week. Every single day, it should be a lifestyle. It shouldn't be a grudge, but a lifestyle. You have to eat a certain type of way. You have to, the alcohol, let's be strict on it. The alcohol has no benefits, so you should kill the alcohol. You should kill the smoking. It has no real benefits. These things should be murdered brutally from your life because you're trying to create a body that's invincible. I mean, I got brothers, I got close friends There are preppers. They're into all type of stuff. But all the prepping in the world is not going to help you if your body can't function. All the war knowledge that you gain on the planet is not going to help you if your body is too weak to carry it out. You know, when I was studying martial arts years ago with a brother, a great brother of mine, Brother War, I remember the brother telling me years ago, this probably 2 decades ago, but he told me that he said it's one thing to know the maneuvers, it's another thing to be physically fit to actually do the maneuvers. So it's two completely different things. One thing to know them is a whole nother thing to be able to be in a position to do them. So you have to get your body right in order to be invincible. Next is finances. Now, I'm not a financial guru. I'm not equipped, qualified, or have I been certified to give financial advice. So this is not financial advice. This is just what I personally believe, and I'm just sharing my opinion with you. But you have to get your money right. A lack of money is like being in slavery. Not having your money right, your finances right, is like being in a financial prison, because money gives you a greater ability to move on the planet. The less money you have, the less your ground of maneuverability is. Your circle gets smaller and smaller where you can go. If you can only afford the bus, you can only go where the buses go. If you can afford an Uber, you can go where the Ubers go. But if you can afford plane tickets, you can go where a plane goes. You understand what I'm saying? And so your money has to be right. And money removes stress. It removes the lack of worry. One of the things about getting your money right, and I believe that you have to make the transition from wanting money to wanting wealth. Because when you have wealth, it frees you up. You don't have to go to these people's job and clock into these people's job. Why? A job should be your first business partner. You have to work. Because I've seen a lot of dudes say they want to get their finance right, but they don't want to work. You have to work in order to build a foundation of what it is you want to build for yourself. But another thing you should be doing is building your credit. You should be starting your own business. I don't care how small that business is. It may be something as small as cutting the yards in your neighborhood. It may be selling on eBay, selling on Amazon. It may be something small, but you start somewhere and start building and compiling and compounding what it is you're trying to do for yourself. You have to free yourself from the rat race and put yourself on a financial status, on a financial level where you don't have to worry about where your next finances are coming from. And I know you're saying, man, you're telling me what to do, but how to do it. Subscribe to the channel, follow the channel, and we're going to go into detail on all of these. This video, again, is laying the groundwork about the things that we're going to talk about on this channel. We're trying to create invincibility. So this is the things that we're going to talk about. But you have to get your money right. Ghetto Boy song. They say,
pockets ain't hurt, that's for certain. You see a broke motherfucker, it's a burden. I'm the first motherfucker on the block for cheese, and I'm the last motherfucker to leave.
This is the mind state you got to have. You know, a broke person is a burden. And you don't want to be a burden to anybody, especially yourself. So you got to get your money right in order to be invincible. Next, we have to deal with, and some of the things you could do that you should be doing to get your money right. You need to study personal finances. There are millions of personal finance books. Study personal finances. Study entrepreneurs that have got wealthy, their autobiographies. Because in every autobiography, there's a formula. When you study people's life, you just watch what they did, and then you recreate those actions. You can also must study economics. Very important, because studying economics gives you the ability to think economically. I have an economics textbooks up there right now. You have to study economics so you can learn how to think like an economist. You have to learn how to think economically. A lot of people think that economics and money are the same thing, but economics and money are not the same thing. Economics and money is one of the tools in the economist's toolbox, but money is not the basis of economics. And these are things, again, we're going to get into these things on this channel and on this podcast, Game Theory Podcast. We're going to talk about this. And I'm going to have people come on the podcast that can build on this deeper than I can. But you got to get your money right in order to be invincible. Next, you have to become socially invincible. What do I mean by that? Big Brother Psyche. What do you mean by that? Socially, I got you on the get your body right. I got you on the right attitude. I got you on your money. Socially, what do you mean by that? You have to make the right social decision. We talk about this all the time. You heard them say, get those squirrels out of your circle. Well, that's a true saying, and you need to take that to heart. Keep squirrels out of your circle. What does that mean? Your circle is the very thing that you have immediate influence of. Right now, I'm sitting in my home, so this is my circle. And I don't want any squares. A square is the type of person that'll come into your circle and they filled with envy, they filled with jealousy, they filled with greed. They want to take from you in some kind of way. They're operating off those 4 devil heads. And if you're not operating on that, if you're not operating on that level, then you don't want that around you, because those things can harm you. Those things can end up derailing you. I had the wrong type of people in my circle, and it derailed. It took me on a 2-year derail. It took 2 years for me to get back here. I was derailed from my direction, and it took me 2 years to rebuild and recreate and restructure everything that I was trying to build just to get right back here. This is where I was at 2 years ago, and now I'm moving forward again. So you don't have time to waste by allowing the wrong people to be in your circle. That's what I mean by socially. But it also deals with, you also don't want to bring everybody to your home. Everybody doesn't deserve to be at your home. See, your home is your place of peace. Your home is supposed to be the place when you're tired of dealing with everything out there in the world that you can come to and you can find relaxation, that you can find enjoyment. There shouldn't be no arguing, fussing, stress in your home. Your home should be free of all of those things. When you want to kick it with people, go out there to the world. It's 196,940,000 square miles of the planet for you to dealing with people. But when you get tired of dealing with people, you need to come home. And everybody does not need to know where your home is at, where you're laying your head, because everybody doesn't have positive ideas for you. Everybody doesn't want the best for you. Some people come around you and they'll see you doing good. They'll see your rides. They'll see your home. They'll see the amenities that you have decorated your home with, and those things will make them feel jealous. And they'll start telling themselves, they won't tell themselves, man, I'm jealous. I need to do better. I need to step my game up. That's not what they tell themselves. What they tell themselves is that, man, he doing on me. Man, he trying to floss in front of me. Man, he's capping. Man, he gonna get what he deserves. I'm gonna rob him. I'm gonna burglarize him. I used to know dudes, because I came up in a certain neighborhood. I'm from Dallas, so I came up in South Dallas. And in the neighborhood I came up in, dudes would be your friend. They would come to your house. Back then it was a Nintendo. We didn't have PlayStation back then, but they'll come to your house and play the Nintendo, play the Sega, enjoy you, kick it, eat your food. Your mama will cook for them. They'll eat your food, drink your water, drink your Kool-Aid, do all of that, your jungle juice. That's what we had back then. And then when they figure out that you and the family is going to be going out of town for the weekend, the same people that kick it with you every day will get a couple of more homies and burglarize your house. They'll break in your house and take your Nintendo, take everything. And I've literally seen this. Dudes and set with the dude when they come back out of town. Man, somebody broke in my house. And they'll sit with them. Man, we're going to find out who that is. We're going to find out who did that. And the very person that burglarized you is promising you that he's on your side and he's going to help you find out who did this to you. No, you don't bring people to your home, because people don't always mean well, even as youngsters. And women, y'all need to be very young girls. Y'all need to be very aware of this. As youngsters, we used to date girls. And then when a girl pisses us off, we burglarize her house. We do it like that. So you don't want to put yourself in a position to be a target. You don't want to be a mark. Everybody shouldn't come to your house. Only trusted friends and family, the people that you trust. And there shouldn't be that many. You should be able to count them on your hand. If you got 100 people that you trust with knowing where your house is, something wrong with you. So you need to be socially on point in order to be invincible. You also have to choose the right mate. Oh, the wrong mate will destroy your life. Destroy everything you're trying to be. That's for men and women. If a woman chose the wrong man, old bum type dude, I know dudes, I got friends that if a woman mess with that dude, I know that she's pretty much going to lose in life. And the same thing go for men. Men get extremely weak when it comes to women. Do not choose the wrong mate. You'll see the red flags. Don't sit up and fool yourself because she's pretty. Don't fool yourself because she's freaky in bed. Don't sit around and lie to yourself. Believe the flags that you see. Don't argue with a woman. Don't do all that old weak simp stuff by trying to keep tabs on her, by trying to keep her phone. You checking her phone every day. You're chasing her down. You're looking for her. She got to keep her location on because you want to know where she. Don't do that. If you're doing all that weak stuff, then that means you need to get away from the woman. Do not let the wrong woman sit on your throne, because she'll destroy your kingdom and everything that you're trying to build. She'll destroy you mentally first. Then she'll start destroying your reputation. And then next thing you know, everything that you've structured will fall apart and crumble. Do not choose the wrong mate. And you have to be careful of your friends. You have to be careful of your friends. You have to understand that life is a war against the malice of men. That's a quote that comes from Balthasar Gracian in the book, The Art of Worldly Wisdom. And that's one that stuck with me, because life is a war against the malice of men. Everywhere you go, men are sitting around, human beings are sitting around, and they will have devious thoughts about you. If you're at your job and you're excelling, there'll be people that was there before you that feel like they should be where you at, and instead of telling themselves how inadequate they are, they start doing stuff against you. They start taking lies about you. You have to be careful when dealing with people. People are devious. I'll go to scripture again. I think it's Genesis chapter 6, verse 6 and 7. It said that God looked down on the man that he created and saw that his every desire was to do evil. And he was sorry that he ever made them. So you have to be careful of the friends that you choose to lie around you, because people are devious. Only those who have submitted themselves to the will of God and walking according to universal laws and principles can be fully trusted. Everybody else, you got to keep your head on the swivel and keep your eyes on the prize and watch these people. Truly, mental. And the way that you develop your mind is through your study material. You have to study. The human being is a mental creature. We are cerebral. This brain, this mind, the ability to think is the thing that made us the premier creature on the planet. It is what gave us the greatest advantage. It ain't strength, because gorillas are stronger than us. It's not speed. Just about everything is faster than us. Cheetahs, hawks, all of that is faster than us. We can't fly on our own. We can't swim faster than anything in the sea. It is nothing physical that gave us the premier position on the planet. It's this that did it. It's the ability to think. So those who can think strengthen their ability to think. So those who strengthen their ability through study think better than those who don't. So if you're in a premier position over animals because of your ability to think, then those who study and build and learn are in a premier position over those who refuse to study, build, and learn. It only makes sense. It's an intelligent, logical, rational, mathematical equation. So if you want to be at the top tier, then you have to do the top studying. You have to read the books. You have to go to the seminars. You have to watch the YouTube videos that are talking about something, not just the gossip about Diddy and all that nonsense, Jay-Z and all that BS, because that's not going to help you. You have to be studying information that's going to help you be the best version of self. You have to be studying the knowledge that's going to help you improve and increase your own value. That's the number one thing, period, point blank. You have to, and some of the things you need to be studying is history and our story. What is that, Brother Psyche? What is history and our story? It's what it sounds like, his story. So when you're dealing with history, you're dealing with the version of the dominant people in a society. They're going to always tell their version of the story. That's history. We need to know that. But our story is what our ancestors have passed down to us, and our great master teachers, builders, and historians have passed to us. We need to know that too. It's more important to us. Why is that important? Why is learning about the past important, Brother Psyche? Because by us understanding the past, it let us know what we're capable of. Those things really count. You know, for years, I think his name was Roger Banneker, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Forgive me. But I didn't even think I was going to say that, but it just came to mind. I think his name was Roger Banneker, but he was the first person to run a 4-minute mile. Before he ran a 4-minute mile, they thought it was impossible. Nobody had ever done it, so they said it's impossible to run a 4-minute mile. At least no one that they had recognized had done it until he did it. Once he did it, other people started breaking it. Every people started doing it on the regular. And then next thing you know, now anybody that runs track can run a 4-minute mile. It's like a normal thing. You are not going to catch a person running track that can't do a 4-minute mile. So you got to ask yourself, what happened? Did an incredible leap in evolution take place in the human being? No, only an incredible leap in our understanding took place. Basically, we saw somebody else do it. And by seeing what somebody else that looked like us could do, we started understanding what was capable, what we could possibly do. We started to understand that. And that's what you have to understand. That's why history and our story is so important, because it gives us examples of what's possible, what we're capable of. And one of the things you have to understand is that's why I started out with attitude and saying that you have to have a positive mental attitude. How you feel about yourself vibrates to the universe. How you feel counts. If you feel like you're dumb, stupid, and weak, you are dumb, stupid, and weak. But if you feel like you're strong, intelligent, and powerful, then you're strong, intelligent, and powerful. And you start speaking, thinking, and operating on that. And one of the best ways to get that is to develop your understanding of history about what we have done in the past and what we are capable of. Another thing that you need to study, and I talked about it, is economics. You have to understand economics. Every economic textbook is going to have the 10 principles of economics. Once I took the 10 principles of economics, hell, I got it on my wall, the 10 principles of economics, because it taught me to think economically. It taught me basic principles. The first principle of economics is there's no such thing as a free lunch. No such thing. So whenever they're trying to give you something free, understand nothing is free. Nothing is free. Nothing. I don't feel like giving examples on that because I don't want to go too long on this. Another thing that you need to study is wellness. I use the word wellness because they can mean multiple things. I used to would use spirituality, but they've changed the meaning of all these things. So wellness, and that's talking about your self-care, your inner wellness. You know, whether you get that through a religious system, whether you get that through a new age system, whether you get that through meditation, yoga, whatever you get it through, you need to study some teachings and some lessons on whether you get it in supreme mathematics, whether you get it in the supreme wisdom of Elijah Muhammad. I don't care where you get it at. If it works for you, that's the things that you need to be studying in order to develop your mental constitution. So you need to be studying wellness and strategy and organization. One of my favorite books on strategy is The Art of War by Sun Tzu. I started with that, but there are many others. The 33 Strategies of War, The Art of Worldly Wisdom by Balthasar Grace. There's many books that you can read that will give you a good developed understanding of strategy, organizing, and warfare. And then last, I'm going to leave you with this last one because I gave you 5, but this last is a bonus. The last, number 6, is situational awareness. You have to pay attention. A lot of people I see this, especially in the age of the smartphone that has made everybody so dumb. People are walking around, just walking down the street with the phone in their hand, with their head like this, not paying attention, not focusing. I saw a young man helping his mama wash a car the other day, and he had a phone like this, and he had a towel in his hand, and he was like this, and he was washing the car. He wasn't really wiping the car because he was too busy on the phone. You're not paying attention. You dudes look like somebody waiting to be killed. You look like somebody waiting to be taken out of the game because you're not paying attention. You're the easiest people in the world to take out. You don't pay attention to anything around you. You just walking. You forget everything. You need to start paying attention. You need to stop, look around you. And if you have a tendency to forget things, if you have a tendency to, some people say they have ADHD. If I don't know what to think about that, you know. And I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna say it doesn't exist. I'm not gonna say that because I saw Andrew Tate say that depression doesn't exist, and they attacked this man for this. But I know that it hasn't the term hasn't always existed. See, I'm in my 40s, and I haven't heard ADHD my entire life. That hasn't always been there. You know, at a certain point in history, that term came up. That means somebody invented that term. Somebody created it. Same thing when you ask me about the sun. I've seen the sun my entire life on the planet. The entire time I've been on the planet, I've seen the sun. I've seen readings of people talking about the sun before I was on the planet. So the sun is something that has been constant. It's something that's been here. The ground has been here. The air has been here. People have been here. Animals have been here. Some of these other things, I think that people are making up names for these things because we have a society that's making people mentally ill and mentally sick and not giving people what they need in order to take control of their own mind. But let's say you have these issues and you know you have a tendency to forget things. So before you do anything, you should write your to-do list. Write your to-do list and tack it up in your house somewhere where you can see it so that as you're going throughout the day doing what you need to do, you can constantly stop and just look at that list. Oh yeah, I forgot to do this. I'm washing. You can go back to finish your washing, getting your washing out of the washing machine. Look at your list and say, oh man, I forgot to do this. Go back to that and you'll get your things done. If you know you have a problem with being late, be aware. You know you're always late. You got to be at work at what time? 9 o'clock? You need to be up. Be up at 6. Be up getting yourself together. And if you ask somebody else to do something for you, you do not make that person wait. You should be waiting on them. If you want somebody to drop you off somewhere, then when you ask for the favor, one thing you got to understand, whenever you ask somebody for a favor and they agree, they have just agreed to make your problem their problem. You need to get to work. But when you ask them to take you, now they have to get you to work. So now your problem is solved. You got them to take you to work. Now they have a problem. Their problem is your problem now. They have to take you to work. You shouldn't make them have a problem of waiting on you. You should not do it. You should be on point. You need to let your reputation get there before you. Your reputation needs to say, this is a person that's on point. This is a person that's never late. This is a person that's always doing what needs to be done. These are the ways that you make yourself invincible in this social arena that we call, in this social war that we call life. This is how you make yourself invincible. In this channel, we're going to talk about this. We're going to build on this. We're going to build invincible men. We're going to build an invincible mind state. We're going to build on the theory of game. Peace and power.